Dear friends, it's been 10 long weeks since we last gathered in this space. I have to confess that I am tired of preaching to an iPhone and an empty church. I miss you and can't wait to be with you in person again. The hardest part, of course, is that we don't know exactly when that will happen. With the unpredictability of this virus and our concern to protect each other, we don't know when we will be able to return to in-person worship on Sundays or resume other activities with larger groups. But just because those plans are up in the air, and just because we aren't in this space on Sunday mornings, doesn't mean our life together stops. In fact, our life together becomes all the more important as we seek to follow the Lord through uncertain times. Over the last few weeks, the staff and vestry have been working hard to consider where we are as a church and what our priorities should be during this season of uncertainty. I wanted to share those with you today and ask you to do something in response. I want to ask every one of you to lean in and step up. In this season, I do not want for us to stall out, slow down, or slump into stagnation as a church, waiting for some kind of return to normal. I want for us to lean on the Lord more than ever and step up into the life He's called us to as servants, as friends, as leaders in our community, and as ambassadors for the gospel. So what are our priorities in the season ahead? And what am I asking you to do in particular? My first priority is to lead you into worship. As I've already said, we don't know what the next few months will look like in terms of congregational worship. We do know, however, that we're unlikely to return to normal for quite some time. Until there's a vaccine for COVID-19 and a proven therapeutic treatment for those who become sick, we'll need to be cautious. This means that when we return to our building on Sunday mornings, things will look different. We will live stream services for those who continue to stay at home. We will most likely have more than 2 services to accommodate socially distanced seating. Our services will be shorter, and we probably won't have foundations. One vitally important way you can help us in our planning is by responding to a survey that will go out tomorrow by email. We're eager to know how you're feeling about returning to worship and under what conditions you'll feel most safe. As we make a transition in the weeks or months ahead, we will keep you up to date on all our plans and preparations. For the time being, we will continue to pre-record Sunday worship and post it to the website each week. But now that the stay-at-home order has loosened up a bit, I want to encourage you to think about how you view and participate in Sunday worship a little differently. Why not set a time and invite a small group over to your home to watch the service together? Or if you want to get more adventurous, carefully arrange for a larger group to gather on your deck or patio. This is a great opportunity to get to know friends from Holy Trinity and to draw new folks into our community. Our sermon series this summer will be called The Way in the Wilderness, Lessons from Life in the Desert. We'll be taking a look at those 40 tumultuous years the people of Israel spent in the desert, learning to trust God day by day as He led them from Egypt to the Promised Land. Why not listen in and worship with another family or a few friends on Sundays? In addition to providing pre-recorded services each week, we plan to launch small weekday communion services in the church building for about 25 people at a time as soon as we are safely able to do so. We're also considering the possibility of outdoor worship services and other options as we look to gather in person while keeping each other safe. That's our first priority, to lead you into worship. And what I'm asking you to do is to lean in, get creative, and gather with God's people as you're able to at home or outdoors. Our second priority during this season is to empower you for personal growth. Times like this upend our daily routines and knock us off rhythm. They also present us with new challenges we haven't experienced before. The downside of this is that we feel unsettled. The upside is that it opens us to the possibility of establishing new rhythms and learning to follow the Lord in new ways. Every man or woman I've ever admired in the faith has had a deliberate practice of daily Bible study and prayer. Many of you have this rhythm already, but need to be encouraged and given resources. Others don't and need to be inspired and equipped. In the months ahead, we aim to expand the resource tools of our website in order to help you develop daily rhythms of prayer and Bible study. We also aim to provide ongoing teaching, training, and equipping for you in the practical realities of our faith. Whether you're in the thick of raising a family, living alone, or longing to know how to share your faith with a friend. As we provide resources to empower you for personal growth, what I'm asking you to do is to lean into new rhythms for spiritual growth. A daily Bible study, a dedicated time to pray, a focused study on an area where you long to grow. Our third priority in this season ahead may be the most important: to foster smaller communities. We weren't created to do life on our own. In order to grow in Christ and to be healthy human beings, we need to be in fellowship with each other. And because large group fellowship is going to remain difficult in the months ahead, we need to foster smaller communities. We have many of these already meeting as community groups. If you're in a community group, I want to encourage you to keep meeting this summer. It's typical to take a break for the summer, but this year, I believe it's important for us to keep coming together for prayer, fellowship, and Bible study. If you're not in a community group and would like to get a taste of smaller community life at Holy Trinity this summer, I want to encourage you to join one of our summer huddles. This is something new for us. These groups of no more than 10 people will look a lot like a community group, but they will meet for just the summer to read and discuss a fabulous devotional book that ties into the themes of our sermon series called Red Sea Rules. You can sign up to join a summer huddle on our website or by reaching out to Kendra Dillingham. Our final priority for this season ahead is to create new pathways for sharing the gospel and serving the city. We may not be able to have an Alpha class anytime soon, but you can still share the gospel with your friends and neighbors. You may not be able to go volunteer at Raleigh Rescue Mission every week, but we can still roll up our sleeves and love our neighbors in need. In this season, we will need to work together to develop new and creative ways to share the gospel, serve the city, and continue the work of the church. The mission of the church never changes. We simply adapt to circumstances and press on as we always have to proclaim, exalt, and serve. So what do I want for you to take away from all of this? During this season ahead, I want you to lean in and step up. Let's worship the Lord together every week. Let's commit to personal growth. Let's gather for fellowship in smaller groups. And let's get creative with how we share the gospel and serve our neighbors. Don't just sit in the sun this summer, waiting for normal to return. I am convinced that God is doing something new during this pandemic, and I want for us to be a part of it. Let's lean in and step up together.